Oh dear, I had my mic muted the whole time. You should have told me. You should have told me earlier instead of damn it. I was commentating the whole time. I really apologise about that. Well, I think it's best if we restart the lobby then to do another qualifier session because I'm joking. But apologies for not muting my mic. I was talking the whole time. You should have told me. Some people were watching. You should have told me instead of not telling me. Sadly, I can't pronounce that name, but hello mate, how you doing? Nice YouTube name. Yep, so good job for Cassidy to get a pole position because my mic was muted. So, as you could see, splits between P10 down to P18. As you can see on the medium compound tyres, the top 10 on the softs and bottom obviously on the mediums to give that longer stint. Kaz on pole ahead of Jules. Sem's done a fantastic job to get himself in P3. Chapelele in P4. Zach in P5 ahead of Ginger. Jill in P7 ahead of Luke. Yaniek in P9 ahead of Finley. Sahilu in P11 ahead of Brett. Boy in P13 ahead of Quicksilver. Quicksilver out of position, I dare say, because not really his usual pace. So let's see what he could do in the race. Jeruvisa in P15 ahead of Terror Racer. Symbolics in P17, and Ron, who did not set a lap time in qualifier due to possibly a qualifying ban, will start in P18 and also known as last. I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you, mate. Sam is still slow. Nah, he's in P3, mate. He's not slow. He's in P3. He's done a fantastic job so far, has Sam. If you don't mind me asking, what's your name? Let's see how this race pans out then. So Kaz on pole then. Very good performance by him. It looks like he wasn't going to get it at one stage, but he pulled it out of the bag at the very last minute when it mattered. So good job from him. He validated his first run on the third set, but managed to pull it all together on the very last lap. Uga. Nice. Hello Uga, nice to meet you. Right then, so as they all line up on the grid then, Ron will fill out back row of the grid with Symbolics. And we're about to see what happens later in this race. Is it going to be an interesting race? Is it going to be boring? Who knows? Oh god, yeah, Uga Booga. Well, I got caught out with that one. I feel so stupid now, but anyways. Lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are away for round 3 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and let's see who gets a better start. It's definitely Kazit who's got a good start, and he maintains first place into the first corner. Down the inside goes the Alfa Romeo. Is that Chapelele? Sem was going into 3 by Chapelele. Spun coming out of the first corner, and he will be dropping down into last place. So Chapelele had a miserable race yet again, down in last, and it's not going well for him as the Ferrari goes down the inside into turn 4, sorry, and has he made a move stick? He was fighting the racing point. No, he hasn't. He stayed behind the racing point as Jill tries to go down the inside of Ginger into turn 6, but hasn't made it work so far. So Tears, Kissizzle leading ahead of Jules in P2, Seb in P3 ahead of Zach in P4, and Chapelele's got a lot of work to do down in P4. I mean P20, sorry. As we've got a 3 wide into turn 7. Chapelele, Brett, Terror Racer, and Terror Racer got pushed out wide there. Quicksilver's now taking advantage of that. Could it all end in tears? Could it all end in contact, I wonder, in the midfield? And looks like they've all sorted themselves out the first lap. Brett slots in P12 ahead behind Boy, and Terror Racer is at P13. So Chapelele down in last place then. Spawn coming out of turn 1. He's got a lot of work to do. Imagine if Ghosting wasn't on, he'll lose a front wing or tyre for sure, but he's looking to get away with that one. I've got a lot of work to do, like I said, so let's see what happens from here on in. High chance of a safety car around here as Kazizo smashes the meter board. Hopefully people don't need to use that, because if they use it no line, then they don't have a preference, do they? They're all the leaderboard is going nuts right now because it's all changing. I don't know why, but DRS is not enabled. It is lap 2 of the race, and Jules is right behind Kaz for P1. Seb down to P3. So the top 3 maintain their positions. Let's see who's the biggest losers and biggest gainers, shall we? If I can get it up. There we go. So the top 3 maintain position. Everybody's gained at least 1 place except Bread, because Bread has stayed where he started, and Chapelele's in the pits. Out he comes on the medium compound tyre. So is Quicksilver on a brand new set of softs. So what happened to him? Was it a scheduled pit stop? Did he lose a front wing? Who knows? As about to see a move for P10, P9, and Finley stays in P9 ahead of Sahila. He gets a squirrely exit as Boy uses all of the track and more of it, and here comes Sahila around the outside. You can see they're both, well, only one using the ERS, but that's Renault trying to go around the outside as Finley takes his place ahead of Sahilu. Look at Jill, goes down the inside of Ginger for, oh, he's almost spun the car but managed to save it. And here comes Luke then. Luke has taken a place off of Jill after making a mistake. Was a bit too optimistic going down the inside of there, very tight corner indeed. And he paid the price for losing 1 position. So thankfully there was no contact being made between those guys. What can Chapelele Quicksilver do then? Down in P17 and P18 as Kaz has set the fastest lap of the race, and DRS is now enabled, so he hasn't pulled the 1 second pin on Jules ahead of him. They're all going to be in this DRS train, but Janiek right behind Jill. It's lap 3 out of 28. We're all going to be into the DRS train now. Finley in P9. The soft runners in the top 9 is Jeroen Visser as Sahilu has spun coming out of turn 5. So he's dropped down into P16, but the Renault goes down the inside, who starts in last place. Back up to P1 then. Jules is too far behind to make a move on Kaz for P1. And further behind there's a racing boy trying to get past Luke, and he goes around the outside, but Luke outbreaks himself. There's a Red Bull trying to get involved as well, and Jill doesn't have a, and Luke has a better exit than Jill coming out of turn 7. But look at that, he's barely got any ERS, and here comes Jill, going to go around the outside of Luke and takes P6 away from him. There was no chance for Luke to defend that with no ERS at his disposal. Had to give that one up, I'm afraid. But he can start saving it and stay in that DRS train, which is crucial for him. And we'll go back to the top 2 then, with Jules trying to close in on Kaz for P1. Janiek down to P8 looks interested on Luke. Tried to make a move down into turn 7, but he's too far behind to make a move. And Sahilu has picked up a 3-second tyre penalty along with Jeroen Visser. As we move on to lap 4 then, let's see what happens as Luke gets out of shape coming out the final corner. Kaz leads ahead of Jules by 5 tenths. Here's the gap on lap 4 of this race. Let's see how aggressive the VR driver will be against Kaz. Let's see what about his ERS. Look at that ERS saving from Kaz. 90, almost 100% from him in the AlphaTauri. That's amazing ERS management from Kaz. Jules needs to put him as much pressure as you can. As you saw in the background, you can see Janiek right behind Luke. He might make an overtake down into turn 7 in a few moments time. He might do it before turn 7. Let's go on board with him. No, he doesn't. He knows he's running out of ERS, so he might overtake him down the next straight, but can't afford to get held up behind him. Oh, he might get a warning for that for taking a lot of curb through there. And yeah, Luke is vulnerable again. It's the same move that Jill did on Luke, and Janiek moves himself up onto P7. So Luke needs to work on saving his ERS because he's used a lot of it. Look at that. And we've got Finley right behind him too. Symbolic's also pitted too, I didn't mention that, but he's also down in P18, don't know what happened to him. So both Mercedes then look like they're having a difficult race. I don't know if it's a normal strategy. I'm good, thank you, Miku. So we're heading on to lap 5 out of 28. It's a 2-stop strategy around Abu Dhabi. Soft, medium, mediums, is it? But you look at 7 then down in P3, the beast on the back of his former team, McLaren. So Yannick has got himself out of the 1 second range. I mean, Jill has got himself out of the 1 second range of Yannick. So the top 6 all of the DRS trade, as finally Finley has overtaken Luke in a place you don't expect. So I wonder if Luke's struggling. Look at that, he's using a lot of his ERS, is Luke. He's not really saving, is he? And look at that, he's got no ERS to his name whatsoever. As down the inside he goes into turn 7. With Finley outbraking himself, but he'll have more ERS compared to Luke, so I might do the move into the next corner in turn 9. Should get this done. And here he goes then, the Williams, easy move on the Ferrari with no straight line speed whatsoever, just like in real life, sadly for them. And he's got a boy on the medium compound tyres, so Luke would not like to see that for his strategy, because he don't want to end up behind the medium runner. And VR Yannick is not pulling a gap to he's not closing in the gap to Jill, is he? 1.4, 1.5 seconds. He was 1.2. He's not too far away, but he needs to get himself in that DRS range to stay in contention with these guys in the top 6 of the DRS train. As the first to pit is Jill, so go for that undercut, and I think he'll go with the medium tyres, but understeering through the pits there. So he's our first pitter, and let's see what tyres he goes on to. Brad picks up a 3-second tyre penalty. And what tyres will these be? The mediums, I think? Yes, they will be. So 5 laps on those soft compound tyres. Onto the medium he goes, and he rejoins in clear air. So keep an eye on him then, because he will try and do the undercut on the top 5. Needs to pull out a mega outlap if he wants to. Battle for P12 going on between Jeroen Visser, if I can get to it, and Ron. Yeah, there it is then. As you can see, Jeroen Visser is in DRS range of Terra Racer 2, so I don't think Ron will make a move. As they're all close together, aren't they? Bread right behind Boye. Yannick's losing time to Ginger, sadly for him, so he can't get himself in that 1 second range of DRS. Jill's got clear traffic ahead of him, 12.9 seconds to the next car, so there's no reason for Jill to not pull a stunning lap in clear air and brand new tyres to do the undercut on the top 3, or shall I say everybody, the top 8. One crawling all over the back of Jeroen Visser, as let's see who pits then. Who is going to be our first pitter out of the top 8? And interestingly, nobody except Ginger. No, he does not come to the pit, so they stay out longer, as Zach almost loses it out the final corner. So then this is allowing Jill to do the pull the undercut on all of them. The top 5 need to pull out a gap on Jill, but they're all stuck in a DRS train. But look at the ERS management from Zach down in P4. I think it's definitely a 2-stop. I don't know if it's a 1-stop or not. Can you do a 1-stop? I don't think on the softs anyway, but soft or hard, is that a bit too slow? The hard tyres aren't really good around here. Not quite sure, but we'll find out in the later parts of this race. As you can see, it's just one big DRS train, led by Kaz, as further back is Yannick. Yannick's 2 seconds behind Ginger, so he has pulled some time back on the Dutchman. And he's dragging along Finley Luke as well. Boye is also in the DRS train on, and then one big DRS train, aren't they? But crucially, Jeroen Visser is outside the 1 second range of Terra Racer, so he's got no nothing to defend it with other than his ERS. When would Ron try and make his move? Will he try and go down the inside of turn 9? You can see the flashing light at the back of Jeroen's car, so he knows he's run out of ERS. Doesn't make a move, so we'll have to wait for that one. But Jeroen has to get himself in that 1 second range of DRS if he wants to try and keep Ron and Sahilu behind them. Should get inside the 1 second range of DRS because look at that, they're all in the one DRS train and dirty areas more. He should catch up, should Giroud, but nobody's into the pits interestingly, they all stay out. That's very interesting indeed. I don't know when they should pit because I've not really done my analysis around this track. It says pit window open lap 8 to lap 12, so might see some people pitting. Talk about pitting, Luke's in the pits. And let's see what tyres he goes on to then. I bet he was begging to get off those soft compound tyres, and he gets to save his ERS as well. Rejoins in clear air, and let's see what he could do then on his outlap. Can he try and take back Finley? Because he was fighting Finley before the pit stops. Obviously it's just one big DRS train going on so far. Yannick 2.1 seconds behind Ginger, so that it's hovering over that gap, isn't it? He's not really pulling, he's not really gaining, is he? So he needs to try and find something to get himself in that 1 second range of DRS to get closer and closer to that train. And he's got Finley in the back of him too. So he will be under pressure by Finley, and what's going on further behind? What about Giroud and Vizza? Giroud Vizza is in the DRS range of Terror Racer, so he's got himself back in that DRS range crucially to defend from Ron, because if he didn't do that, Giroud Vizza would have to use his ERS, which he doesn't really have any compared to Ron. And so he's dropped back down. Oh, he was in that 1 second range of DRS until he got dropped out of it, so he needs to close in again. Anybody else goes to pits this lap? Nope, they don't. Except Sam. Sam pits. So his teammate pitted, now he pits. And let's see what happens from here on in. So Luke rejoined behind Jill, 7 seconds. Let's keep an eye on Jill down in P14. Where will he rejoin, I wonder? I think he will definitely get ahead of Sam. No, will he? If he gets ahead of Sam, it means he gets ahead of Jules and Kazizel. And he does get ahead of Sam, but Sam... Yes, he does. So that tells me he'll definitely get ahead of Kazizel and Jules, because Sam was right behind Jules and Kaz before the pit stops. And crucially stays ahead of his teammate too, both Dutchmans down in P14 and P15. So then, it's most likely that Jill will definitely overtake Kaz and Jules and Zach and everybody that will come to the pits. Good information for those drivers ahead of us. As you can see, the battle for... Well, look at that, here comes Yannick. Finley has overtaken Yannick for P5. That's a good move from him. Looks like Yannick is now struggling, as you expect, on those soft compound tyres. The medium runners will start homing in on him. You can see all over the back of him. And I think it's safe to say that those guys in the top 4 should definitely pit. Here they are, the tyres don't look too great, do they? And let's see what happens. Will they come to the pits this lap? Yes, they will, but Ginger picks up a 3 second tyre penalty as he stays out longer. So all 3 of them into the pits then, and let's see what happens. Where will Jill rejoin? Massive DRS train going on there. Let's go on board with Jill, the Frenchman. Theoretically, he should get ahead of him. And he does get ahead of him. So I think Jill is now the net race leader of this race. He's got a big gap as well. Sam has also overtaken Jules, and where's Kaz? Where is he? Kaz, what happened to him? Well, I think Kaz, it's safe to say, he got held up in the pit lane because he was first, and now he's down in, well, he's behind the people he was racing. And here is Brett then. Brett going around the outside of Boye. And Boye keeps his place, and he's under pressure from Yannick as well. Yannick is definitely going to have to pit because he's behind the medium runners, as Ron has overtaken Jaruba, finally. And what will Yannick do? He won't go down the inside of that one. So then Boye is the highest medium runner, medium starter shall I say, in P3. think it's safe to say that Janiak definitely has to pit now because his tyres have come to an end and he's behind the medium starters. Ron managed to get himself ahead of Jeroen Visser finally for him and Ginger. Will he come to the pits this lap? I think he should do. But what happened to Kaz? Because Kaz was definitely leading the race and now he's down behind Luke, Jules and Sem. I think it's explanational to say why Sem got ahead of him because he did the undercut. But what about Jules and Zach? How did they get ahead of him? Especially Zach, because Zach was like 2 seconds behind before the pit stops and now he's rejoined ahead of him. It's got a 3-second gap. So what has happened to Kaz? I can't have any explanation because his teammate is Jeroen Visser, who's in P5 and hasn't pitted, so can't be that. Was his team not ready for him? I'd love to know what happened to Kaz. He's got a big gap to make up now in P12. He's ahead of Ginger for sure because Ginger stayed out a bit too long on those soft compound tyres and he's rejoined behind Kaz. But how has Zach got ahead and pulled a 3-second gap over Kaz? But look at the two Ferraris there. What would they do? Will those two Ferraris work with each other to ensure that they don't get overtaken by the guys behind? And battle for the medium starters. Can Brett get himself back ahead of Boy? No, he can't. Big DRS train on the medium starters. You can see here Sahilu sliding in the corners there. I think is Luke's chance. In fact, where's the other Ferrari? Oh, Sem's just further ahead, I believe. Yeah, Sem's just further ahead. I thought both Ferraris were in P9 and P10, so ignore what I said. So look at that. It's most likely that Zach will overtake Luke because Luke has barely got any ERS. Oh, making mistakes like that, he will definitely overtake him. Gotta be careful at the exit of that corner there. Very easy to lose the car. You can see the top four. They're very close proximity between the top four. With Jeroen Visser and Sahilu climbing on the back of the train. As Kaz sets the fastest lap as Janiak has overtaken Quicksilver. Quicksilver is in the pits. Don't know what happened to him as he gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pits, so his day is going bad to worse, sadly, for the Dutchman. Both Mercedes not having the race they want as Sahilu then loses traction in the exit of turn 6. All in one big DRS train led by Boy in P1. No moves being made down there. And what about Zach? Can Zach make his way past Luke? Luke has DRS on the back of Jules, so he has got some defence. Has Luke, otherwise he might be overwhelmed by Zach due to no ERS. And no moves being made down into turn 9 either. Further behind, where is Sem? Sem down in P8, he's pulling away from Jules. Stay on board with these guys here. Be interested if safety car comes out now because it will mix up the strategies, won't it? These are the medium starters, the ones that started on the medium compound tyres. As Jeroen Visser makes a mistake, allowing Sahilu to come back at him. And guess what? Jill's right behind him. The net race leader is in P7 behind him. Oh, careful Jill, can't afford to rush it. Oh, both making contact. This is not going well whatsoever. Jeroen Visser trying to hold on as the IGK driver makes his way past Jeroen. And Sem goes down the inside. He hasn't wasted any time, has he? Has Sem. And Ron right behind Turret Racer as well. So Jill is our net race leader of the race. It's crucial for Sem to make that move because he's got fresher tyres compared to Jill. And he's in the DRS range too. As on lap 13 out of 28. No moves made down turn 7. But sadly for Luke, he's outside the 1 second range of DRS behind Jules. And Zach is crawling all over the back of him. I dare say this will be easy because look at the ERS difference. And looks like the move will be made. And look at Jill. What about Jill? Down the inside, that's aggressive, and he's done it. Made it stick. A bit of a wobble log coming out the corner, but he's made it stick. Sahilu gets out of shape coming out of turn 11. Where is... Yep, Zach's overtaken Luke. These are crucial moves. And look at that. Look at the top 4, all in close proximity of each other. He's got the net race leader right behind him. Remember, the top 4 hasn't pitted, so that's why Jill is all over the back of his train. Oh, Jill, be careful, mate. Can't afford to make mistakes like this. And that's the McLaren officer here who goes to the pits as Luke gets a 3-second time penalty. And here comes the Renault ahead of Tow Racer for P3. You don't really see moves being made into turn 1, but you got yellow flags. Alfa Romeo, is that Ginger? Has Ginger made a mistake? Is that Chapelele? No, it's Chapelele, isn't it? And Tow Racer, mate. Gotta be careful not to do that. As IGK Jill goes around the outside of Tow Racer. And I believe that was Chapelele who made that mistake. And here comes Sam crawling all over the back of Tow Racer as Chapelele has retired in the pit lane, so no safety cars will be deployed. And here comes IGK Jill. Jules has overtaken Giroud Vizza. And I believe his teammate will make it easier for him. There's no need for his teammate to fight. But you don't want to make it too... well, you don't want to slow down too much because those guys behind will overtake. So he's got to find a way past without making it difficult for his teammate. Down the straight. Will he let him down the straight? No, he doesn't let him past. As here's Tow Racer being overtaken by Seb behind us. Sem has got one more car in front of him to get to Jill. I wonder what will happen between these two because they surely got to work with each other. They're on different strategies and Jill needs to pull away because he's on an older medium compared to the other people that pitted with him. He's got to be careful with his teammate because his he might think he could go down the inside, but Brad might not expect it, so he can be careful. Is this chance to go down the inside? Yes, it is. And Brad goes slightly off the track. Here comes Ron. And what about Sem? Will he make it 3 wide into turn 1, I wonder? Look at that. You don't really see overtakes being happening. And Sem goes down the inside of both of them. So that was a very easy move for Sem. That's a crucial move as side by side goes Brad and the Renault driver of Ron. Ron goes around the outside and that's a good move from the Renault, but it gets a 3-second time penalty, I believe, as Tow Racer goes down the inside. He spun the car and yeah, that's a Ferrari going through. Ferrari going through on Jeroen Visser. Guess what? There's loads of action going on. It's unbelievable. Jules going around the outside of Brad and now it's Zach's turn. This is unbelievable stuff as Cazizzo has overtaken Jeroen Visser. And there is Ginger trying to finally involved in the action. And here comes Zach. Zach, can he overtake Jules on the same straight? And here comes Brad down the inside. He's not giving up despite being on older tyres. Will he do a switchback now? Probably helping his teammate. And he can't do it with the older tyres, sadly for him. But what about Jill? Jill takes the lead of the race. Our new race leader now in P1. This is very interesting indeed. There might be some complaints because they won't be happy with the medium starters, but that's what happens in a 2-star race. I couldn't even calculate what was going on, but look at Luke. Luke's on a brand new set of mediums. Will he go down the inside? Oh! So lucky, but he gets a... he's definitely got a warning for that one. Gotta be patient, Luke. You can't really afford to make any mistakes. You've got Kaz behind you. Kaz, our former race leader, is P9. As Brett picks up a 3-second time penalty, Luke goes deep into the last corner, and there comes Ginger. Unexpected move from the Dutchman, and he's overtaken Kai. And there's Sem right behind Boye. I'd love to go back on board with Luke. Cazizzo will be absolutely fuming. And Sem will wait for the main straight. But he has to overtake Boye as quick as he can because, as you can see, Jill is pulling away from him. Will Luke try and go down the inside? No, he will wait for the straight, but Ginger goes down the inside though. Taps the back of Brad, and Brad goes off the track and lets both of them by. And Tow Racer has retired from the race. Will that cause a safety car? And a virtual safety car has been deployed to slow the race down as Jules will be frustrated because he was about to overtake Ron. So Jules will be absolutely fuming with that virtual safety car. And Sem has made his way past Boye, crucially. So we can finally slow things down, folks, as the virtual safety car has been deployed. This is a very interesting race indeed. Action going on left, right and centre. More action than I've seen in any Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. and Ginger and Kazizo didn't overtake Luke down the straight because that's a virtual safety car. But Luke's in a safe place now. We can try and close in on Zach ahead of him. He's got Jules and Ron and Boye ahead of him. This is very interesting in this race. Where will the virtual safety car end? Look at Boye's ERS as well. Very conservative with his ERS. As drive-through penalty for the Ferrari driver, and that's an Alf. Who's that in the pits? That's a back marker. So he's got into the pits, and is it a back marker? I think it was. I thought it was an Alfa Romeo, as Bedford tyres in the pits. Loads of people are in the pits this lap. Or was it a back marker? I can't quite tell who it was. I don't think it was a back marker, as Giroud Vizza is changing his front wing. It was Jill. Jill's in the pits. He's gone onto a brand new set of mediums. It wasn't a back marker, it was a racing point. It was our race leader, because he pitted very early on lap 5, and his tyres come to an end, so he's pitted onto a brand new set of the medium compound tyres. Got a bit confused there, but it was the racing point of Jill who pitted. So the top 6 then is very mixed up to what we saw at the start of the race. Before the first pit stops, it was Kazizel leading with Jules in P2. So Jules stayed where he started effectively. As let's go on to the, yep, there he is. Then Sem gained 2 places. Jules stayed where he started. Zach gained 2 places. Finley, Ginger has gained 2 places. Kaz has lost 4. Finley has gained 4 places. Yanni X gained 2. Sahilu on the hard compound tyres, so that's very interesting from him, as Jill has made his way past Luke. Yep, Luke's dropped down because he had a drive-through penalty to serve, sadly for him. Look at those penalties. I don't think I probably showed that because it will spoil it, so apologies about that. So then who's next to pit? Because Jill, with those fresher medium compound tyres, and Sam's in the pit, so Sam has instantly responded to Jill. Mate, this is going to be so interesting towards the later stage of the race. Who is going to win the race? It's most likely going to be Zach, because Zach hasn't got a penalty. I don't think Sam has either. All about getting the less penalties, isn't it? And here comes Sam coming out of the pit lane. Jill has overtaken him. Yes, he has for the P8. In a net P6, I think. So those two on a brand new set of the medium compound tyres. They got Sahilu ahead of him. Sahilu is absolutely struggling. Can't even rotate the car around turn 6. Renault, yeah, obviously it's Renault. It is the Mercedes for 2021. So it'll be beneficial for those guys if Sahilu holds up Jill and Sem. Jill's in the DRS range now of Sahilu. If you don't overtake him this lap, he will definitely overtake him next lap for sure. As a safety car, a virtual safety car has been deployed. That's possibly benefited Jules, Zach, Ginger and Kaz. Symbolics has caused a VSC. Where has he crashed? Oh, there he is in the wall, and he's out of the race. He's lost both of his wheels as well. It all depends how long the virtual safety car stays out, because I dare say these guys will definitely pit. It's a no-brainer not to pit. He's not pitting. He's not pitted as Jules. That's interesting then, because it's benefited. Right, here we go then. So I'm trying to figure out what can happen in this race. I don't know why Jules... Well, the virtual safety car ended when he came to the pit lane entry anyway, so I don't think he... yeah, it made sense not for him to pit, because it was just... And they're on the soft compound tyres, so it's soft, medium, soft for Ginger and Kaz. They believe they can take them soft tyres to the end. Well, they did do 7 or 8 laps on the softs anyway, so on their first stint, so they could possibly take them to the end. As Jill then needs to get past Sahilu as quick as he can't afford to be stuck behind him, because that'll allow Sam to get closer and closer. And plus, they need to pull away from these guys. Boye, I think he benefited off... Yeah, he has. He's in P8. And he's ahead of Ron and Ginger. This is shaping up to be a really good race here. And there is Sahilu overtaking Jill taking over Sahilu. So what's going to happen then? Zach hasn't got a penalty, so he's most likely to win this race if he keeps it nice and clean. Sam hasn't got a penalty, so Sam, Zach, possibly Finley could be contention for the win. Boye, possibly. He's on a brand new set of soft tyres and he's going to have good pace from here on in. He's got Sam ahead of him, 1.6. He's not in the DRS range just yet. But will Jules and Zach pick this lap, I wonder? If they don't pick this lap, then I think I know what they're doing. Yep, I know what they're doing. I think they go to the end. Because it'd be logical by now to pit. But I think there goes the end. If they're doing that, then let's see how these tyres cope. 8 more laps to go. Can you do soft medium? I think you can, but they say it's a slower strategy. So we've got a mixture of strategies going on here. Some people have done soft and medium. Some people have done soft, medium, soft. Some people have done soft, medium, medium. Some people have done soft, hard, Sahilu, down in P6. Some people have done hard, medium, soft, soft. So mixture of strategies going on in one race. And Sam, as you can see, is all over the back of Sahilu. Let's see what the best strategy is. Those tyres will definitely fade away towards the end of the Grand Prix, on the mediums anyways. Sahilu goes wide, he struggles through turn 6, allowing Sam to get underneath him. This should be an easy move on Sahilu. And yes, he has made his way past the McLaren driver for P6. Hunted down Jill, Janiek, Finley. As down the inside goes Ginger on Ron. This is going to be a very interesting race. I can't wait to see how it plans out. But if those two, I think those guys will definitely go to the end. So what's the gap between Jill and Jules? What gap does he have to make up? There it is. He's 13.3 seconds behind is Jill. Sam's 14, Sahilu's 16, and look at that, Boye is right behind. He's outbroke himself, and here comes Boye around the outside in a corner. You don't expect to find. Here comes Ginger too. Optimistic from the Ginger there, and he takes 8th place away from Sahilu. In fact, Sahilu loses 2 positions in one corner. He's about to lose another position as Ron has overtaken him too. He's just dropping down like a stone on those hard compound tyres, and here comes Kaz. He's going to go down the inside into turn 1. Yes, he is. And sadly for Sahilu, he's lost about 4 places in the last sector. That's a big shame for him, as Ginger is all over the back of Maurice for P7. Hopefully he don't make any mistakes, because he did that in Bahrain as he outbroke himself and hit the back of somebody. But hopefully he keeps it nice and clean. If you know he's got a better pace, you don't want to risk it. But he has got 7 laps of this race left to do something about it. And there he is then, made the move for P7 ahead of Boye. Right then, so this is very interesting. Jill is 11.8 seconds behind Jules, and those guys go to the end. The top 4 are going to the end. They're not doing a 2-stop. Jill downwards have done a 2-stop. And let's see which one works. Is a 1-stop better? Is a 2-stop better? Because there's been no safety car, but there has been a VSC. So if those guys can take their time at the end, if they don't drop off the cliff massively, then they've benefited. But bearing in mind, Jules has a penalty, and when Jill catches up to Janiek Finley, he's going to have to overtake them both, which is going to cost him more time. So I believe Jules and Zach have chosen the right strategy, if their tyres haven't fallen off so far, because that 1-stop soft and medium. They say the 2-stop's better around this race, but I don't know really. As Ginger has set the fastest lap of the race, then he has got a 6-second time penalty. Has Ginger, as the Haas driver, has taken an interesting route out of turn 1. Zach knows he doesn't need to fight Jules because he's got a 3-second time penalty, so he doesn't need to risk anything. But if he wants to take first place on the track for his pride, I don't know if he's going to sit behind Jules throughout the whole thing. I think could be playing tactical, because if Jill catches up, that means Zach has ERS and he's got DRS behind Jules. So if Jill does catch up, then he's got a DRS, hasn't he? Basically, effectively. Kazizor has overtaken Rod. I think Rod tried to come back at him, but Kaz stays in 9th place then. I definitely think Zach's got a better pace than Jules, but like I said, if Jill does catch up, then Zach's got slipstream and DRS, and he can use his overtake to overtake Jules. But bearing in mind, Jill does have a 3-second time penalty. But do you know what? If Zach does get a 3-second time penalty, then he definitely has to overtake Jules and pull away from Finley too, because Finley down in P3 has done an amazing job, and he's got no penalties to his name. Yaniek, Jill has got penalties. And keep an eye on the gap. The gap is going down for sure. There's 5 laps left of this race. The gap is definitely going down. 9.4, but it's not enough. I don't even think it's enough to catch, but definitely enough to catch Finley. But what about overtaking him is the other problem. Catching up is easy, but overtaking is another thing. Sam down to P6 though, he'll be frustrated with the race. You can see Jules is not using his ERS, so he knows what Zach is doing. The gap is 8.7 now, 8.6. It was definitely going down, but is it enough? Chase is on for Jill to try and see if he can fight those guys, as Kaz has overtaken Boy for 8th place. Our pole sitter has not had a good race whatsoever, has he? Down in P8, he's had a terrible race. And Ginger is right behind Sam for P6, so that's a battle between those two. Sam has been trying to catch Jill, and I think he's catched him slightly, but not enough. And Sam is running out of ERS as well. His teammate down in P13 having a miserable race. I don't think Jill will catch the top 2. I think he might catch P3 and that'll be it. But it's definitely been an interesting race, the best Abu Dhabi race I've seen so far. Bearing in mind we've got Yadiek and Finley still fighting for P3, so that battle for the last podium position is still going on between Yaniek. Can Yaniek close in on Finley? Well, he's definitely closing in, but can he overtake him? What's the ERS status? The same, they're both on the same ERS. You can see the top 2 then. Jules trying to pull out the slipstream ahead of Zach. Jules, I must be said for Jules, I know he's been in a lot of incidents recently, but this race he's done a fantastic job. He's saving his ERS despite being hunted down by Zach and co behind him, but he's done a fantastic job, has Jules. Not put a foot wrong. The only thing he's done wrong is get a penalty, but that's common around this track. It's hard not to get a penalty around this track, especially when you're on the limit and pushing with all the tyres. So he's done a fantastic job as Jules, as Ginger has overtaken Sam for P6. And Kaz has dropped back. I wonder why Kaz has dropped back. His race pace, I don't know what's happened to him. He did look like he was in a comfortable position at the start of the race. He's definitely got all of his front wings, so don't know what happened to him. Finley's done a good job as well down in P3. And they've got the pressure of, look at that, there he is there. Jill is closing in on the Red Bull and the Williams. I wonder when Zach will make his attack on Jules. He knows he doesn't have to win, but you're a proper racer if you go for it, despite the drivers in front of you getting a penalty. I say Jules is under more pressure, obviously, because of that penalty. I think the best he can hope for is P3, Jules. But bearing in mind, Finley is closing in on Jules. If he doesn't be careful, Jules could possibly get down to P3. So I think Jules definitely needs to push. As Kaz picks up a 3-second time penalty. There is 3 laps to go of this race. You can see the Renault in the background trying to hunt down the Hash driver. And that is Boye and Ron fighting for P9. I think Ron might have a go on him down into turn 7. Will he? I'm trying to keep in a battle for P1. No, he doesn't go down the inside into turn 7 does Ron, so we might wait for the next straight, I wonder, as Yaniek is right behind Finley. There he is then. We're on board with the Renault driver. Oh dear! Oh, Zach has got a 3-second tyre penalty. Can Finley win this race? If he closes that 3-second gap down, can he win this race? If Finley wins this race, it's going to be absolutely amazing. Guess what? 2.9. And there's 3 laps to go. Finley is under big pressure now. He knows he can win this race if he does not get a penalty. The only thing he needs to do is not get a penalty. Can he get a race win for Williams? Where did he start? He started down in P10, so he did the soft medium strategy. This is going to be very interesting there. Does Finley know he can win the race? How much will he push? How much will he risk everything? Because he hasn't got a penalty, has he? I think he'll definitely get a podium, but the race win is on his hands now. So the race win could either go to Jules, Zach or Finley. Or Jill, because Jill's there, but Jill has got a 3-second tyre penalty. So Finley's got a lot of defending to do because Jill is right behind Janiek, and this is going to be putting big pressure on Finley. Zach doesn't make a move down the inside of Jules. And what about... There comes Janiek down the inside of Finley. He can't afford to lose third place or fight with the Red Bull driver, as the Red Bull driver is trying to attack and defend. And here he comes as Zach's overtaking Jules for P1. And here comes the Red Bull and the Racing Point. Oh! Bit close there. Contact was made as Jill goes off the track. Here comes Janiek back on Jill. But Finley will be definitely frustrated down in P5, knowing he could have potentially won this race, as Rod and Boye is still fighting. That's massive frustration for Finley. Yeah, the top 3 have got a 3-second tyre penalty. Ginger is not a contention for anything because he's got a 12-second tyre penalty. So can Jules stay in contention to Zach? Can he try and get the first place back? He knows he's got a 3-second tyre penalty. They've both got a 3-second tyre penalty. It's a definite P2, I will say, for Jules. There's no way for Finley to come back from this. Finley's under pressure from Ginger, and Jill is right behind Janiek. If you see them tyres, then let's what about P1 and P2? Look at the state of theirs. Be careful coming out of the traction zones to those guys, because those tyres were probably off the cliff by now. And here is Jill then on the Red Bull, and makes his way past for P3. And here comes Ginger down the inside of Finley. I think Finley can still get a podium. Yes, he can. And Finley is back down the inside of Ginger, but Ginger has DRS and a better exit. So if those two work together, Finley could potentially get a podium because he hasn't got a penalty if he stays within the 3-second gap of Jill. So Finley could definitely get a podium. And what about Sam? He could get a podium. Sam down in P7. So Sam, Finley goes off the track. That could have been a penalty if he wasn't careful, as Boye and Ron are fighting still for P9. Sam needs to overtake Finley for a podium because the guys ahead of him have got penalties. I don't know if Sam knows this, but he could potentially still get a P3. All he needs to do now is stay clean. He doesn't need to get a penalty whatsoever, as Finley gets a squirrely bad exit coming out of the last corner. Come on, Sam, he's got to try and overtake him, figure a way out to get past Finley. He's losing time to Jill. There is Jill. He's catching the top 2. He needs to overtake Finley as soon as he can. He can't afford to stay behind him much longer. And there is Jules then. It's the last lap. All or nothing for Jules. It's going to be quite difficult, it must be said. And yes, he has. He's run out of BOS and probably run out of chances to try and overtake Zach. Too far behind to make a lunge. And I dare say Sam has oh, that goes down the inside, goes Sam. They're both fighting for the podium, potentially a podium, because if Jill pulls out a 3-second gap, and here comes Ginger on Janiek for P4. Sam is defending very hard from Finley. Finley trying to go around the outside. Yellow flags further behind. Oh, yep, he's definitely not on the podium. He has blew it. As Boye and Ron are still fighting for P9. These two haven't left each other alone, have they? A valiant effort from Jill, but sadly it wasn't enough. And it's Zach that's going to take the race win. As he rounds the final corner, Zach wins in Abu Dhabi for round 3. Jules will finish P2. And what about Sem? Sem will finish in P3. Yes, he does. He gets on the podium. Fantastic for Sem. Also for Finley down in P4 too. But a fantastic effort from Finley from P10 to P4. But what about Kaziza? What on earth happened to him? He's down in P9. The pole sitter has had a terrible race. Hopefully he can come back stronger in the next race. But that was a fantastic race. Mixture of strategies going on there. And that is the race done for tonight. Congratulations to Jules as well, down in P2. Sem down in P3, what a fantastic result for him. And Finley in P4. With the race done, it's time to end the stream. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time at 7 PM for the next race. Take care of yourselves, have a good weekend, and see you later.